Hi, this is Laura Rice here at Ascribe, and I'm going to get you started with Ascribe CXI today. So we're on the Ascribe homepage, and we're going to navigate to CX Inspector. That's our CXI, our Ascribe's text analytics tool that extracts findings from open-ended comments. We have three options here. We can load data from a study. If you are a user of our manual coding tool, Ascribe Coder, you can actually load data directly from one of those projects. You can open an existing project, or you can upload data. Today we're going to upload data. Before I actually navigate out to a file, I do want to show you the file I'm going to be working with. This is our health complex, fitness complex study, and we have a unique respondent identifier, a couple of closed-end questions for filtering, some demographics here, and a rating question. And then we have our open end. In this case, we do only have one open end. If you have more, that's fine. You can analyze as many open-ended questions as you'd like. In this case, our open end is tell us about your experience with our fitness club. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close that up. The file does need to be closed in order to submit it to Ascribe. And we're going to upload the data file. We're going to go here and grab the fitness MPS 2022 file, hit open, and our loader is going to interrogate the file and present us with options for importing the data and analyzing the data in our CXI tool. So the first option, set of options here, we do want to choose the sheet. In my case, I only have one sheet. The taxonomies are groupings, code books, categories that we'd like the data to be organized into. We'll talk more about that in a bit. I'm going to leave it on auto group for now. The rule set that I'm going to choose today is the standard rules by Ascribe. I would suggest always using the standard rules by Ascribe when you process your data. The analysis language is English. I do have a few Spanish comments, so I'm going to translate all my comments to English, so anything that's not in English will be translated to English. I'm going to clean out personal identifiable information, that's like phone numbers, social security numbers, and email addresses. Always choose processor version 1. That is for our sentiment processor. And then we get to our table. What do we want to analyze? The first thing that I'm going to choose is the comments question. So my data is in column H that I want to analyze. So I'm telling the system, this is the field that I'd like you to extract meaning or find things in. So that's my comment question. My filter variables, I'm going to go ahead and choose all of those except for the RID. I'm going to just leave the RID as my unique identifier. And I'm going to make sure that I've got my division, region, district, MPS group, date, and MPS rating all available for filtering and bannering and creating different visualizations within CXI. When I'm ready, I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And now what's happening is our Ascribe CXI tool is using different pieces of technology to extract sentiment findings and also non-sentiment findings from the data. It's also pulling those closed ends in so that we can use those for, again, slicing and dicing and bannering the data. And once the analysis is complete, we'll be presented with our default Ascribe CXI template. So this is the default Ascribe CXI template. What that means is that we'll first be presented with the sentiment. You'll see this little sentiment tab down here. This is the first dashboard. We call this our sentiment dashboard for those questions or those data sets that have sentiment. We also have a non-sentiment view, which is better for those questions where sentiment is maybe implied or there's not a lot of sentiment in the data or in the findings from the data. And then finally, we do have our closed end tab here, and this is just all of our closed ends in bar charts so that we can filter and slice and dice through those. We're going to start out over here on the sentiment tab. Just for this overview today, we're going to stay focused here. You'll notice that we analyzed 1,655 comments. 1,287 of those had sentiment. That's why we see the count here is 1,287. We have our table. So these are the topics that were extracted from the data. These are the main things that were being talked about with sentiment: the club, the staff, the locker, the machines. We do have counts and percentages here. We do have a sentiment rating. The sentiment rating is based on a 5-point scale that goes from -2 to +2. -2 are our strong negatives. -1 are negatives, neutrals are zeros, positives are ones, and strong positives are +2s. You'll also notice the colors associated with the negatives are red, dark red and light red. Colors associated with positives are dark green, light green. And that will be helpful to you when you're looking over here at the responses. So these are the actual verbatim responses that were analyzed. In the responses, you'll notice that we have the responses are actually tagged. The positives are in green, and the negatives are in red. Okay, so again, these are our responses. Down here we have our expressions. The expressions are kind of the heart and soul of the sentiment dashboard. These are the words, the positive and negative words that people were using to describe the different people, places, and things that were extracted from the data. So dirty, broken, good, clean, these are the ways people were talking about the gym. If I drill into broken, so any one of these items on the screen can be clicked into except for the responses. If I drill into broken, you're going to start seeing what was broken, the machines, the equipment, the lockers, the showers, the toilets, the bikes, the treadmills. So we're going to start seeing everything that was broken. We can actually export a quick little report if we like. So every one of these visuals, so each one of these little containers here are visuals, and each one of these visuals can be exported to either Word, if it's a table to be in Excel, and if it's a chart or graph, it will be exported as an image file. So again, we can drill in as much as we want. If I want to then drill into toilets so I can see what's going on with the broken toilets, I can see the 5 responses that were talking about broken toilets. Again, I could extract those if I wanted to or export those if I wanted to. I can actually go over here to the closed ends and see, okay, who are these 5 people that are talking about broken toilets? Are they in the East? Are they in the West? 3 are in the East, 2 are in the West. There are detractors, all 5 are detractors. These are the weeks. So you see all the little information on where these 5 people, like where they came from, what they're doing. So that's just a quick little drill down. Once we've drilled down, we can remove the drill down by either clicking on the actual thing that we've drilled into, or we can click the little eraser field up here to reset all of our drill downs. Okay, so that's the start. So that's kind of the initial exploration of the system. Now there are things that we can do with each of these visuals if we like. I could go in and say, you know what, I want to actually change this table into a crosstab, and I want to crosstab this by, let's just crosstab it by division today. So I want to add a crosstab by division. I do want to keep my sentiment color, so I'll keep the sentiment color. I do want to keep my counts, my percentages, my sentiment, and my X score. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And now I've got my topics table, okay, my top 100 topics and groups, and I've got it cross-tabbed by East-West, so by my actual division. Again, this can be exported to Excel if I like. I can drill into any one of these cells to find out more information. So if I want to know, well, what about the 53 that are talking about equipment in the East? Is there anything here that I need to look into? So again, we can drill into the individual cells if we like as well. Popping back up here to the overview of the screen, these are all of the tools that we have available to us here. You can always export the canvas to HTML. So if you click export to HTML, then you can save this so you have a static image of the dashboard that was on the screen. Of course, the scrolls still work and such. So this is something that you could share with someone else if you like. You can export to HTML. We do have our standard exports, the most popular being API data and either response sentiment or response view, depending on if you're looking at the sentiment or the non-sentiment. You can always export those to Excel. If you want to organize your groups and topics, you would do that with the grouping tool. So the grouping tool, just a brief overview of the grouping tool. The grouping tool is showing us that we have 465 groups right now. That's a little much. So what you might want to do is come in and say, okay, machine and equipment. Those two things mean the same thing. It's talking about the same thing. So I'm going to put those together in one group. So now everyone that was talking about equipment or machine has been put into the machine group. I can change that and call that machine equipment if I like. So there we go, machine equipment. So now I have a group called machine equipment. Over here on the left side of the screen, these are things that haven't yet been grouped. So these are topics that the system pulled out that haven't yet been grouped. So I see something here about odor. So let me go ahead and search for odor and see what's coming up. Okay, there's quite a bit of responses that have odor. Let me go ahead and search both panes. Okay, so we do have a number of odor comments. And if I want to pull those all out into their own group, I can grab them, say, hey, let's create a new group. And let's call this group odor. And then over here, I could also grab everything and to see there's some, drop deodorant on the floor. Probably wouldn't put that one in there. But the rest of these look good to go into my odor. So now I have this group called odor. The system does also remember what I searched for to put these into the odor group. You'll learn more about that in an upcoming training session. And there we go. So now I've got my machine equipment. I created my odor group, and I could continue doing this, but what I might want to do is save this. And let me see, I might want to save as new, and I'm going to call this my demo taxonomy 2022 and hit OK. And you'll notice now down here at the bottom, it will say demo taxonomy 2022. So I really just wanted to give a brief overview of the grouping tool. This is where we would go ahead and organize the data and put it into categories that work for us. The cool thing about this is, the best thing about this is that we can leverage this. So I've got this taxonomy called Fitness 2022 version 2 that has all the groups that I'm looking for in my fitness data. And what I could do is go ahead and apply that so that I'm seeing the data in the categories that make sense to me. So it's customized to what I need. So if I hit OK, you're going to see that everything will be updated to represent the categories that are important to me. So now I've got machine equipment in one place, and I can drill into that and see how people are talking about machine equipment. Staff employee is in one place, and how are people talking about staff employee? What are they saying about the restrooms, the locker rooms, the classes, the pool, the club, so on and so forth. Okay. One more thing to talk about, and that's the fact that we can add our own canvas here. So I can add a brand new canvas. And once I've added a canvas, I can add a visual. And this visual can represent whatever it is that I like. One of the things that I like to show here is the actual X score, especially when I'm dealing with sentiment. What the X score does is it shows us, it weights our and I'm going to just make this for just my groups, just the things that are important to me. And it weights my, it weights the sentiment rating by the relative frequency of the responses. It's a proprietary algorithm that we've actually patented here at Ascribe. And you'll see that staff employee, you can see how much is negative and how much is positive. So the things that are most positive are staff employee, trainer, training, instructor, teacher, price, value, cost, and classes. And the things that are most negative are the restrooms, the locker rooms, needing repair, dirty in general, and just the machine equipment. So the facilities are not doing so well. The classes, instructor, the people are doing okay if we look at this kind of overall. And I could rename this. This can be my X score report, and hit OK. And if we like, we could actually add other visuals as well. Maybe we want to add a closed end. Maybe I'm interested in seeing, based on my closed ends, let's just base this on let's do my MPS group. Okay. Give it just a moment. Okay, here's my MPS group, and maybe I'm interested in what's going on with just the promoters. So I can click into the promoters, and I can see that, you know, the things that the promoters are most positive about, and then the things that they're negative about: TV, television, shower, machine equipment, dirty, things needing repair. So there are things that I would probably want to fix to take care of my promoters, the people that would actually recommend my company. And I believe for today, that's probably enough of an overview. One more thing though, there is one more thing that I want to definitely touch on, and that is all the closed-end filters. So you can use this to filter. So if I wanted to filter just for my passives or just for my detractors from week 31, I could do so here. but that is also controlled down here. So I can remove those filters down here if I like in the closed end tab. So the closed end tab and the filters go hand in hand. One more thing to point out is that we could actually say, hey, I want to have a different canvas. Maybe I want to have a canvas. Maybe I want to have a different canvas for each week. Or let's just go ahead and make a canvas for the East and the West. And I can say create one filtered canvas per code. And now what I have is a canvas for the East. Notice there's no West numbers here, and a canvas for the West. So here there's no East numbers. So again, there's lots of ways that we can organize the data, lots of different visuals that we can work with. Here I did just create the X score, but you can explore all the different visuals that are available here. And I think that's plenty. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Once something is saved, you can access it again using the open folder when you come back into Ascribe. I'm going to go ahead and head back to the home page, and I look forward to a training session using your data very soon.